So, like a lot of people, I really love Squid Game and Squid Game 2, which came out not too long ago. Okay, by the time you're seeing this, it was a little while ago. But the other thing I love as much as K dramas is dolls. I found these dolls at the Dollar Tree and I thought actually they are low key kind of adorable. And wouldn't it be fun to repaint a couple of them as characters from Squid Game? Now, I am going to be doing characters from Squid Game 2, and I'm going to be doing female characters from Squid Game 2. All right, I'm going to try and turn this girl into No-Eul. Okay, No-Eul is a North Korean defector turned part-time character for Children's Carnival and part-time triangle guard for the Squid Game. The other base I'm going to use to make Semi or player 380 from season 2. These are two of my favorite female characters from this season, although one of them definitely did not get as much time on the show as I would have liked. But while I talk about my favorite characters, let's go ahead and get started with this customization. The wigs and clothes literally were made of plastic and just popped off, but this paint is not it. So I'm using some acetone to take off the paint that's on there, and afterwards I give them a quick wash with soap and water, as well as a buff with a magic eraser. Also, one of these girls has a painted on outfit and sleeves, so ignore that. First thing we're going to do are the wigs. Now, like I said, they came with these kind of rubbery snap-on wigs, but the styles are obviously not what we're going for. So I'm going to take the first doll's hair and we just kind of chop it up with an X-Acto knife and just try and make it so the headband lays a little more flat. Then using my high temperature hot glue gun, I add some extra spikes onto the bangs to kind of give it that PC look. This is not perfect, but it's also my very first time attempting this, so please be kind. Okay, so for the guard, I think she has a ponytail most of the time. Her hair looks shorter in some clips than in others, but for simplicity, we're keeping it in the ponytail. However, she does have box bangs or straight across bangs, so we're going to add those on with hot glue. After spraying twice with Mr. Super Clear Matte, I go ahead and I paint them both a dark black-brown color to better match the hair colors of the characters. Also getting a spray and a paint are the shoes. The shoe colors were actually pretty close. I only had to use some black paint to completely make these sneakers black. All guards in Squid Game seem to have black running shoes and all players seem to have white Vans. With the wigs and the shoes painted, let's go ahead and paint their faces now. Using a tip I learned from the great Jackie O here on YouTube, I draw in my base lines for my face up with a red pencil. Then I go in and add all of my base features with acrylic paint. I'm using Vallejo model paints and I have just a black color, a brown color, and a white. I'm not really used to painting vinyl dolls, but I'm pretty happy with how things are laying out. I'm kind of alternating between acrylic paint, pencils, watercolor brush pens, and kind of just flipping around until everything looks smooth and where I want it to be. Alright, No-Eul has kind of a sleepy double-lidded look, so I kind of draw that on and then I use the paint to put it in. Now it is looking a bit blocky and chalky, don't worry, it will get smoothed out. I did these face-ups in 2 layers, so after I finished that first base paint and line work, I popped out my pan pastels. Now, if you've been around, you know I love pan pastels, and even though I'm not really used to using them on vinyl, this worked really well, I think. I was trying to keep with my current style of painting, but also trying to follow the kind of shapes and coloring of the faces of the characters. Now, obviously, the doll I've picked to be No-Eul is much darker than the actress, so I did lighten her up just a little bit in the face. I know it looks really white here, but it tones right down after Mr. Super Clear. Don't worry. After adding in some blushes, contour, and some shadows around the eyes, All I really have to do is paint on Semi's lip rings, nose rings, and earrings, which are one of the things I thought was super cool about her, as well as use my gloss pen to add some gloss to the eyes and the piercing locations. I usually use Mod Podge Super Gloss, but I have been using this for smaller areas and I quite like the look of it. You just really have to make sure your sealant is on and settled or it can mess everything up. Okay, so on to what is going to be my least favorite part, the outfits. Sewing tiny clothes is so hard. It's so tedious and tiny, and even just cutting everything out is a pain in the butt because you have to like really measure to make sure things are going to fit, because if you go just even a hair too small on something this small, it's going to be a disaster. Almost a disaster is I did not have pretty much any fabric that really matched what the guards were wearing. So after scrounging around, I found a couple of cloth face masks that I thought I could repurpose for this reason. The pink is super bright and it's that so pink it's almost red. I saw a lot of comments about people debating whether or not the guards were always pink or if they used to be red. I'm on team they were always pink, and I just think that the way things are edited and oversaturated in the series is why they come across as red sometimes, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Because I like to make myself suffer, I made these tracksuits completely from scratch, and that even includes sewing on the tiny little stripes and all of the cuffs onto the shirt. Oh my gosh, this was tedious. The guard jumpsuit was a little bit easier to make, only because the fabric wasn't so stretchy. But you have to remember that when a fabric is not stretchy, it can also be less forgiving, so I don't know if this girl's going to be able to sit very well in this outfit. And of course, some of these details are so insanely tiny that there was no way I could machine stitch them, so a good portion of the outfits were put together and hand stitched. Once I've got the outfits together, I paint on the extra details. For Semi, that means painting on her numbers onto her jumper and her t-shirt. And then for the guard, I used cardboard and hot glue to make a mask, painting it with 2 layers of black and then 2 layers of white for the triangle. But after putting in a hard day's work, it's time to see the finished result. So the edges are not perfect, and there's definitely some little threads that I need to cut off still, but I am in general pretty happy with how they came out. These are 2 characters that I don't think get as much love as they should, because I just thought they were both fantastic, and like I was just really excited to be able to make dolls of them. I don't usually make a lot of like pop culture style dolls, but these ones were really, really fun to make and I had a really good time. And it was really fun to do coming off of finishing all of season 2, although I'm not super pleased that they left us on a cliffhanger, but yeah. Let me know what you thought of this video, what you think of these dolls, and who your favorite characters from season 2 of Squid Game were. If you're already subscribed, thanks so much for subscribing. And if you're new here, I hope you like the content and consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!